Ever since I was young, I've heard as many man up and real men don't cry and just be confident comments as the rest of us. Which is funny because I've been anxious since I was, about 10. And 10-year-old me was never prepared for emotional repression. Although I hear it less now than I used to, it still irks me every time I hear a comment like this. And with Christmas just around the corner, a time where you're expected to put on a happy face more than normal, it can be really tough for some men. So, although my platform is very small, I know, I'd like to take this opportunity to talk about men's mental health. Not to be preachy, but because promoting mental health awareness helps to dismantle harmful stereotypes and helps normalise vulnerability among men. And just to be clear, this isn't about downplaying the importance of women's mental health. I'm just a man that at times has been shunned for showing his emotional side, and by making this video I hope that I can help to deter that from happening to other men out there. As a disclaimer, I will be talking about sensitive topics in this video, like suicide and self-harm, so viewer discretion is advised. When I was 12 years old, I lost my virginity to a girl who was 1 or 2 years older than me, who had had sex before. About a month after that, it all kind of hit me what had happened, and I became very afraid of people finding out, and so I wanted to try and escape the situation. So I broke up with her, or whatever you want to call it, at that age. And not long after that, it became apparent to me that she had told a few people, and before long, kids are kids and gossip spreads. Before too long, it seemed that everybody in school knew, which was exactly what I was terrified of. You might not think much of it now, but the bullying that followed after that was severe, and it had a crippling, long-lasting effect on my mental health, and I believe that it plays a big part in why I have ongoing anxiety and depression today. Out of fear, shame, and just a lack of emotional vocabulary, I bottled everything up, and I kind of kept how I was feeling to myself. I avoided talking about it to anyone because every time I tried, it just brought back all of the abuse. Everything shouted at me from across the playground, every message that I got sent online, it just all came rushing back. After years, months of torment, I didn't want to keep reminding myself of what had happened. And after 2 years of bullying and self-harm and silence, when I was just 14 years old, I tried to overdose painkillers one night in the hopes that I wouldn't wake up in the morning. But lo and behold, it didn't work, and I'm still here today. which is something that I am and will always be grateful for, because the life that I've lived since then has, although been difficult at times, it has been rich and filled with love. One of the main reasons that men hide their emotions is the societal expectation that we should project strength and invulnerability, but it can just lead to some deeply internalized stigma. The fear of being perceived as weak or unmanly isolates many men from seeking the support that they need. And from a young age, many boys are taught outdated ideas that men should suppress their emotions and that strength is to be silent and that showing emotion is a sign of weakness. If you've been brought up like that, phrases like man up and real men don't cry are really just the tip of the iceberg, especially when you look at the suicide rates among men in the UK and across the world. In 2024 alone, there was 5,100 male suicides in the UK. It's 425 a month, 98 a week, and 14 every single day, making it the leading cause of death among males under the age of 50. And that alone is enough reason to start talking. During the darkest stages of my life, the cost of silence was what hurt me the most. I learned very quickly how to keep everything to myself, and I became very good at pretending that everything was okay. But when you don't talk about how you feel, it doesn't disappear. It just waits, like an unpaid bill with interest. You can shove it in a drawer, you can tell yourself that you're going to deal with it later, but eventually it comes back heavier and more demanding than before. For me, bottling everything up made me change the way that I saw myself. I criticised everything I did, and it made me feel very isolated, like I was living behind a mask while everybody else thought that they were seeing the real me. And the worst part is that I thought that that was strength, but silence doesn't make you strong. It makes you lonely, and loneliness mixed with anxiety and depression is not a place that you want to be in for long. For a long time, I thought that getting help meant admitting defeat and that it was some kind of failure, but of course it wasn't. Getting help didn't magically fix everything, and it certainly didn't turn me into some Zen monk that gets up early to journal and drink bloody smoothies. I still get anxious, I still feel insecure at times, and I still struggle. But the difference is, I just don't let that run my life anymore. Talking to someone, be that my family or a therapist, gave me words for emotions that I'd been carrying silently for years. It also helped me realise that what I was experiencing wasn't weakness. It was also something that many people go through, even if they don't talk about it. It's also important to know that healing is practically never a straight line. It's more of a scribble. Some days you'll feel like you're making lots of progress, and others you'll feel like you're just going backwards. But opening up, even when it's uncomfortable and even when it's scary, takes real strength. Far more strength than pretending everything's okay. Asking for help doesn't make you any less of a man. If anything, it's one of the manliest things you'll ever do. If you're a guy watching this and thinking, yeah, but my problems aren't that bad, that's depression talking. It's a liar, and it's a very convincing one. The truth is, men do cry, men do get anxiety, Men do get insecure, and men do break down. Talking is never a weakness. It is not unmanly to struggle. What takes strength is asking for help. I've been fighting my mind for most of my life, and I used to think that that was a weakness, but it turns out staying alive and still trying is the strongest thing I've ever done. If you're going through a hard time, please reach out, make the call, speak to someone, and let them shoulder some of what you're carrying. You're not meant to go through this alone. And if you've noticed a change in your friend's behaviour, they just don't seem themselves, make them feel heard. Make them feel like they can talk, and together we can break this stigma. Share this video if you can, and if you're comfortable, share your own story. Let's make talking about our struggles the new norm, for our brothers, for our dads, for our husbands, boyfriends, friends out there. I've left links to helplines in the description. Please use them if you need to. Don't let your friends fall when maybe all they need is a call.